Hey guys, welcome back to the channel dedicated to helping you earn more, spend less, and invest the difference. Giving you practical financial advice that you can go out and immediately use to begin bettering your financial situation. And as always, if you enjoy educational content like this, be sure to subscribe, leave a comment down below. It really makes my day hearing from you guys as we embark on this financial journey together. But enough of that, let's not waste any time, let's get right into the good stuff. The 6 biggest mistakes people make when it comes to their Roth IRA. So if you are brand new to investing, I highly recommend watching some of my other videos where I go into more in-depth explanation of what a Roth IRA is. But the down and dirty version in 20 seconds is an IRA is simply an individual retirement account. It's an account that's going to help you save for retirement by giving you special tax breaks. And these tax breaks mean that ultimately you are going to spend a lot less money in taxes paying this money to the government, which then means that you have more money in your retirement account. And that larger amount of money in your retirement account is then going to grow and compound and become even larger and larger and larger over time. So eventually the differences become very substantial once we eliminate all of these extra taxes. But a Roth IRA is not an investment vehicle in and of itself. It's simply a type of account, kind of like your checking account or savings account or something like that at the bank. So what you're going to do is you're going to put money into this special type of account, this Roth IRA, and then once that money is in this account, you are then going to use that money to go out and purchase whatever types of investment assets that you're interested in, stocks or bonds or whatever it is that you're interested in buying. But enough of that, let's get into the 6 biggest mistakes that people make when it comes to these Roth IRAs. So the single biggest mistake that people make when it comes to these Roth IRAs, simply not using one. Or if you are using one, not contributing enough towards your Roth IRA. We live in a world where, it's almost a YOLO generation where everybody is living for today and they don't want to think about the future. Now, most of my viewers are in their 20s or 30s, and so retirement seems like it's so far away. And people don't like thinking about, retirement or saving for retirement. They want to live for today and they want to enjoy themselves today. And there's nothing wrong with enjoying yourself today. But let's be honest with yourself. When you go to bed tonight, you fully expect to wake up tomorrow morning. So with that being said, you need to plan for tomorrow and the next day and the day after that. You need to make sure that you are financially set. And the way that we go about this is by saving at least a little bit of money for tomorrow. And what better way to save for tomorrow than to put that money into a Roth IRA? So the biggest mistake, like I said, is simply make sure that you're contributing as much as you realistically can to your Roth IRA. By ensuring that we're saving enough money in our retirement accounts today, we ensure that we ultimately will have a dignified retirement where we don't have to worry about finances or anything like that, where we can actually enjoy our retirement instead of constantly worrying about how we're going to pay rent. And the second thing that people make mistakes on when it comes to their Roth IRAs is withdrawing money from their accounts prior to retirement. Now, you can always withdraw money from these retirement accounts. Sometimes it's tax and penalty free, sometimes you pay all kinds of crazy penalties and taxes and that kind of stuff. And I'm not going to get into the details of any of that stuff here in this video. If you're interested, go check out some of my other videos. But ultimately, what we're trying to do when we are putting money into this retirement account is to fund our retirement. So by taking money out of this retirement account, we're really just robbing from our future selves. So this is an absolute last resort, is to take money out of this account. This is not supposed to be for like, hey, I want to go on vacation or anything like that. Make sure you have an emergency fund, that way you're not tempted to suddenly tap into your retirement account, if your car breaks down or something like that. The only time I actually recommend withdrawing money from your retirement account is as an absolute last resort. Like, you are one step away from being homeless if you don't get this money now. Because ultimately, what's the point of having a bunch of money in retirement when you're 60 if you're homeless in your 30s? But that's the only time that you should be taking money out of your account, is in a no kidding Armageddon worst case scenario type of situation. Otherwise, leave that money in your account, let it continue to grow. That's for your retirement. That's not money that you're supposed to be spending today. Number 3, and this isn't going to apply to everyone, but a lot of you guys out there are married, and potentially some of you only have one income in the home. Maybe your spouse is a stay-at-home mom or a stay-at-home dad, or you are working while your spouse is, trying to finish up their college education or something like that. So for whatever reason, you only have one income coming in. And maybe that income is relatively, decent, so you can actually provide for your family on just that one income. And so you're contributing to your Roth IRA account, and you are able to max it out this year. So for most people, you can only contribute $6,000 for the year 2020 into your Roth IRA. And so you max that out, and then you're like, well, I'm done. Like that's all I can contribute. But that's actually not all that you can contribute. Your spouse can actually open up an IRA in their name, and then you can contribute up to the maximum, the same $6,000 per year in 2020, into their retirement account. That way, total, even though you have one income, you can contribute a grand total of $12,000. $6,000 into your Roth IRA and $6,000 into your spouse's Roth IRA. Now, obviously, there are a couple of rules when it comes to this, and the biggest one is that you actually have to be married, filing jointly, which the overwhelming majority of married folks already do, so it's not usually going to be that big of a deal, but make sure your tax status is married, filing jointly. Number 4, avoid penny stocks. Now, one of the nice things about a Roth IRA is that all of your gains are tax-free, and so we kind of have this illusion of grandeur, like, hey, I'm going to buy these stocks in this particular upcoming company, and they're only trading for 3 cents a share, and hopefully at some point in the future, those stocks are now worth $20 a share, and I'm going to make millions of dollars in profit on this particular company, and all of that money is going to be tax-free because I held it in a Roth IRA. Penny stocks suck. Nobody, in my opinion, should be investing in penny stocks unless you just have money to burn. I liken penny stocks more to gambling than I do to investing. The overwhelming majority of penny stocks are eventually going to go bankrupt and you're going to lose everything. So with a retirement account, you are saving for your future. So you want to make sure that the investments that you purchase in this account are safe, solid, sound investments that are not going to suddenly go bankrupt and lose everything, which means that suddenly you have no retirement. So avoid any of these get-rich-quick scheme type investments. Avoid penny stocks at all costs. And that's just not just for a retirement account, that's just investing in general. But stay away from penny stocks. They can really screw you over. And number 5, and it's almost the inverse of the penny stocks because the penny stocks were so risky that they shouldn't be used. Number 5 is avoid bonds and some of those ultra conservative types of investments in your retirement accounts as well. So once again, the Roth retirement account, all of your growth is going to be tax-free, but bonds typically have a relatively low growth rate. They are one of the safest types of investments that you can generally invest in. And because they're safe, they also don't make a whole lot of money. So their growth is going to be relatively low on some of this stuff. So it kind of defeats the purpose of having this tax-free account where all of your growth is tax-free if you're then going to go out and buy some products that don't really have any growth to them, or at least very low growth like a bond. In addition, a lot of municipal bonds or munis, these are bonds issued by the state, federal, local, city government, whatever. A lot of these types of bonds are already tax-free growth. And so you're not going to be paying any taxes on the interest that these bonds generate to begin with. So holding them inside of a Roth IRA is sort of a double negative. Like, it just doesn't make sense because you're already getting tax-free interest on your bonds and then you're holding it in a tax-free account. So there's really no purpose. You're just doubling up and not getting any benefit. So all of those types of things should be held in some other type of account. So when it does come to investing in a Roth IRA or something like that, I highly recommend that you diversify into some sort of stocks ETF. I prefer VTI or VOO, that's the Vanguard Total Index, or the Vanguard version of the S&P 500 index. So if you go with those, it's unlikely that in the long run that you can really go wrong. I think they're very safe, sound investments, and they fit perfectly into a Roth IRA account. And the last thing that people make a mistake on when it comes to their retirement accounts is excessive fees. Some people think that they need to go out and get a financial advisor to help them manage their money, but the overwhelming majority of people do not need a financial advisor. In fact, a financial advisor is going to significantly set you back. And here's a fun fact. Believe it or not, most financial advisors don't have your best interest in mind. A lot of financial advisors are not fiduciaries, which means that they need to put your financial interest above everything else. Most financial advisors are able to steer you into different products that they get a kickback for having you buy that particular product. So it doesn't mean that the products that they're having you buy are the best products that are going to get you the best return on your money. The products they're recommending are simply products that's going to make them a bunch of money. But let's just say that you're paying your financial advisor a 1% management fee. And you're like, well, 1%, that's not such a big deal. It's only one teeny tiny percent. It's not the end of the world. But then maybe they're also steering you towards products, maybe an index fund or an ETF that also has additional fees on top of that. So maybe what they're having you buy also has a 1% fee. So now we're looking at a total of a 2% fee. And like I said, on the surface, that doesn't really seem so bad. But the way compound interest works, 2% is massive differences in the long run. So to help illustrate that, let's just say that you're 25 years old and for the next 40 years until you're 65, you contribute $5,000 each and every year to your retirement account. So if you got a 10% return on your money, which is roughly what the stock market averages over the long run, if you got a 10% return on your money, you would have over $2.4 million in retirement. But if you had to pay a 2% fee system and now you only made 8% of your returns, you would only have $1.4 million in your account. So that's $1 million difference. Like, that's almost half of the total amount of money when it comes to retirement, simply by only having a 2% fee attached to it. So when you're looking at retirement accounts, make sure that whatever it is that you're purchasing has a very low fee structure. For this reason, I like a lot of the Vanguard index funds or ETFs or something like that. Vanguard has historically had very low fees in all of their products. But do your own research, purchase whatever type of products it is that works best for you. Personally, I invest in a lot of Vanguard products. So that's going to wrap it up for us today. The 6 biggest mistakes that people make when it comes to investing in their Roth IRA accounts. As always, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you all again next time. Thanks.